Following the completion of a pretty unpopular title, the creator of the game, Toby Fox, was feeling like he wasn't finished making the most cinematic masterpieces you will ever experience. So, he started to work on the game he always envisioned to make, one that he dreamed of in 2012 and would finally show to the world. That game is Deltarune. Originally starting from a dream Toby envisioned one day, it's been stuck in concept as early as 2012. With Chapter 1 being released in 2018, it was originally a scrapped idea of his, but through reusing music and newfound motivation, it slowly became the game that I'm so fond of. If you want a modern RPG that not only has lovable characters, fun bosses, amazing worlds, and a whole lot of Susie, then this is the game for you. This game has captured the internet by storm the last couple of years, whether it be from a sketchy salesman, a charismatic TV, or...
This isn't the night.
Now, of course, if that's all the game had to offer in terms of player experience, it wouldn't be so beloved to millions. So what is it that makes this the best game I've ever played? Well, to answer that, we just have to dive into the closet. How a game is experienced and played through is what every developer should have as their highest priority when creating a video game. Luckily, the pixelated RPG genre has always been a consistent experience with gamers, as the limited resources most of the time allows for a lot of them to be a short 3 to 4 hour adventure with dialogue boxes and turn-based battles. I want you to now throw everything I just said out the window because Deltarune, which is halfway incomplete as of now, goes above and beyond as to what an RPG is supposed to be. You begin your journey in a simple hometown and a school, where you meet the second main character of the game, Susie, after a friendly introduction the two of you have. You and Susie have to get shot from the supply closet. Man, what a boring game so far. Is this all it has to offer? You ponder to yourself. However, as you're thinking this, the floor falls from underneath you and you fall into the bottomless darkness. You're then plunged into the dark world, the main areas of the game and where most of the story takes place. These mysterious and fantasy-like lands, which, let me just say, the dark world in every chapter is awesome. Each one has their own theme, color palette, and design choices. In Chapter 1, we're in a game board filled with various tabletop games, such as chess, checkers, poker, and more. This first chapter serves as a great introduction to meet all of the main characters and premise of the game, to get you immersed in what it has to offer. Every chapter you progress through afterwards is even better, with amazing mechanics and theming that makes the experience feel like one big adventure. The new enemies and bosses each chapter are so diverse from each other that it's crazy this is all from the same game. But it just makes the Dark World that much more creative, with limitless potential in what the player can explore and interact with. The more you progress in the game, the more mechanics are introduced, like the recruit system, the party dojo, TP game. More character abilities, armors, weapons, different healing items, puzzles, dance sessions, this guy, a rockstar concert, shadow crystals, this guy, a biblically accurate angel, combining healing items and weapons, and even more. The way this game changes the 2D RPG format over time while still retaining its charm and simplicity from Chapter 1 is honestly insane. If it wasn't fun enough, in Chapter 2 you can alter the character Noelle's decisions in a battle and have her constantly freeze enemies, which kills them instead of fleeing away after a battle like how it normally is, leading to a much darker path between KRIS and Noelle. This not only changes the game's pacing and tone completely, but provides a second completely fresh and new replayable path to do for a second playthrough of the game. And it is completely avoidable in a normal run, so no need to run into it if you don't want to. From developing mechanics as you progress to new enemies and attacks every chapter, to enjoyable bosses and characters, and even a second different path you can take of the game. This game has enough content that you can play for multiple days and never get bored. Just 2 playthroughs of this game took me 33 hours. So if you were to play this game completely straight and do minimal exploring and no secret bosses, it takes around 8 hours. 10 hours if you want to do the secret bosses, and possibly 11 to 12 hours to explore every nook and cranny of each chapter. Remember that we are currently only halfway through the game, with the last 3 chapters releasing supposedly having as much content as the current 4? Yeah, that $20 price tag is more than worth it. If all this wasn't enough, a common part of an RPG that carries the game are its characters and story. And goddamn do the characters carry this game. If you've ever seen this game around the internet, whether it be from a meme, animation, song, or art, I can guarantee you it was showing one of the many characters that Deltarune has to offer. Toby had learned a lot after making Undertale, which includes making some of the most charming and fun characters you will ever see in a pixelated RPG. Every character in this game, to a main character like Noelle or a background one like the Hacker, have their own unique personalities that make you want to interact with every character you see just to view their dialogue. With a rich and layered story on top of that, you got a damn banger of a cast that'll have you thinking about them weeks after finishing the game. From the very beginning of the game, you are told of the Prophecy, a legend that 3 heroes will slay the Titans of Dark and bring peace onto the land. Those 3 supposedly being the Fun Gang, the main characters you grow a bond with throughout the game. In Chapter 4, the prophecy is expanded upon in ways that left players intrigued. It showed a girl with a sword in the prophecy, which is not Susie, and a final tragedy that will unveil near the end of the journey, which we never got to see because Susie smashed it to pieces and after starts denying that we'll never let that happen. So yeah, the tensions are definitely high for the future chapters. If it isn't just a compelling and expansive lore of the prophecy that's interesting for the player, each dark world we encounter has their own narrative and characters to interact with, that each have their own story and relationship with other characters in the world too. It's really immersive and interesting seeing all of these simple pixelated characters having bonds with each other, with dialogue that feels like you see between real people. If you look at the story with a surface level perspective, this is a tale of high schoolers becoming friends with each other through magical adventures in different worlds and slice of life moments in the real world while taking down a greater evil. However, once you take a deeper dive into it, it's a story of childhood friends, disappearances, lies, alternate paths, and mystery. This game's story will have you wanting to replay it over and over again just to experience it all over again, or discover secrets you once thought weren't there. And that first time you play all 4 chapters is unlike anything else in gaming. Now you might be thinking to yourself, well, this game sounds pretty peak so far, but what if I'm a musical genius who only likes video games based on whether they make my ears ascend to the higher realm every time I boot up the game? Well, music is also certainly this game's strong suit. You've been hearing some of my personal favorite songs from this game across the video, and if you've liked what you've heard, you should definitely give the game's OST a listen. One of the best similarities Deltarune has to Undertale is that all the songs are fucking heat. Not one bad song in this soundtrack. Every chapter has their own distinctive tone for music. Chapter 1 is mystical and quite whimsical. Chapter 3 is loud and vibrant. Chapter 4 is ominous and relaxing. And Chapter 2 is just a bang, nothing more to even say. It'll have you bumping your head up and down, contemplating what you've done in life to get to this point, and get you off the chair and start dancing to the music you are being blessed with. It makes a great distinction from other RPG OSTs by having its own clear sense of style and personality compared to others. From Spanson's big shot perfectly raising up the stakes and fitting the boss battle, to having this sense of doom and awe as you proceed to get slaughtered countless times trying to beat him. But after so many hours, blood, sweat, and tears, that final cutscene when you finally show that stupid goddamn deer who's boss and take their shadow crystal is one of the best feelings you will ever experience. Overall, if you had high expectations from this game's soundtrack due to Undertale's magnum opus of an OST, this game cranks it up to 11 and makes the experience 3 times as fun and immersive as it would otherwise. Of course, every game has their flaws, and even my favorite video game of all time is no stranger to issues I personally experience. If you're new to the game and want to start by playing Chapter 1, the first chapter is honestly so underwhelming in so many aspects that I don't blame you if you suddenly have low expectations for the rest of the game and don't want to continue. In fact, a speedrun of this chapter that I completed as I was writing this script only took 1 hour. Yeah, that's it. The gameplay is just very short and sadly doesn't have a world, story, or characters as compelling as the other chapters in my opinion. Susie's character arc from going to a mean bully to a caring friend in this chapter should have been a lot more fleshed out and believable. However, the chapter's quick pacing and no fancy cutscenes or deep emotional dialogue make it so her character in this one feels rushed, and just to get to the fun part of her story. It's not only chapter 1 that has flaws, even though the other 3 chapters are much better in my opinion. Chapter 3 can feel a bit tedious and hollow in the game board sections, some of the music in the game feels off and doesn't fit the section, certain characters feel one-dimensional, the battling is way too easy in the first 3 chapters, and chapter 2 and 4 have no issues, they are the GOATs. Aside from the obvious flaws chapter 1 has, all of these negatives are nitpicks in my opinion. I have almost no real negative comment to say about this game. It perfectly achieves what it wants to do while going even further to give the player some of the most quirky characters they'll ever see. All the positives I've said about this game throughout the video still absolutely apply, and to be honest, I see no reason to not give this game a try. Hell, the chapter 1 and 2 demo on Steam is literally free, so what are you losing by not giving it a try?